second, guys. Should be good. Let me do the intro real quick. Hello everybody, sPidA here, the Fight Card Podcast, coming to you from San Antonio, Texas. In the studio today, I'm actually being joined by Mom, Bianca, and of course, Gaige, Faulkner. How are you guys?
Good.
And I was going to tell you, you can put these on. I mean, you can hear me from here, but if you want to put them on, that'll work. And of course, I mean, we are here inside the HOJ training facility, and coincidentally, of course, I mean, you guys, this is where you train, right?
Yes.
Gaige? And let me ask you, man, as far as, how old were you when you started training?
8.
And of course, Mom, I mean, at this point when he started training, I mean, what was it that convinced you to take him to some of these classes?
I always wanted to get him into something extra, and he was not really into too many sports, and he actually wanted to do karate, but we actually found a jiu-jitsu gym, and he tried it the first day, and he just didn't change. He just loved it.
You see, and nothing wrong with karate, because I know a lot of guys that do practice the art form. But yeah, it's all stand-up, of course, and I mean, grappling involves a lot more groundwork. Now, were you a fan of wrestling before this? I mean, did you used to watch like WWE, or did you really? What's your favorite wrestler, man?
I would say Edge.
Really? Oh, sweet, man. Okay. And of course, with, I mean, having grappled, I mean, you've already been doing it like how many years?
Almost 2 years.
And let me ask you, from the beginning when you started, has your mentality changed? Or you still feel the same way, like having fun with it? Are you still enjoying it?
Yes.
And of course, Mom, I mean, because he's grappling, I mean, he's going to all these tournaments and classes. I mean, that means you're going.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what is it that you do as a parent when you go to these classes? I mean, of course, you're involved with his social media. So, I mean, you do photos, video.
Yeah, it's like I'm always like, I pretty much record as much as I can, and not only so I can make like his videos for the social media, but I also show him like, you know, like little things like, oh look, you could have also done this here, and he can see what he's doing, like instead of like being there, he can see it for himself.
And I mean, are you a fan of the sport? Let me ask you this.
I didn't even know that jiu-jitsu existed until he started the gym, and it was like, yeah, I just love it now. Like, I love it. And
I mean, of course, I mean, being that it is a sport, I mean, he competes like on a regular, pretty much, right? Yes. So how did these tournaments work out? Because I mean, back when, you know, when I was training, we had dinosaurs, of course, you know, but back in the day, I mean, we had to wait an hour, 2 hours, and then you get to compete. Is that kind of the same thing nowadays?
Yes, we have to get there early. We get there like 8, and then he has to weigh in, and then he doesn't even start his first match till like 11 or 12, so we're there all day.
You see, and when this happens, Gaige, what do you do? I mean, do you take a break? Do you take a nap?
I practice with my coach.
Okay.
So I could be warmed up for the match. But then after I'm all like practicing with my coach, I just relax for a little bit to get my energy back up.
Nice. Well, man, I couldn't have said it better myself. But that's good, though, because obviously, I mean, you've been winning. I know I had asked Mom on your last tournament, you won a sword instead of a belt because of the, what was it that you said it was for going pro or going to advance?
He was going to do the expert division, but there's not too many kids that are like in his weight and age and everything, so we just decided that we'll just put him in his intermediate.
Okay, and of course, I mean, the next one coming up, I mean, is there a date? Do you guys have one already set up?
We have one this Saturday.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Where's this going to happen at?
It's Battlegrounds, and it's over at the George Gervin Center.
Oh, okay. You see, and somebody was telling me about that, because the last one that happened was for Naga?
Yes.
Okay, nice. And I mean, what is the on this one? What's going to happen? I mean, are you going to go into the intermediate again, or?
They go by belt, so he's going to be in the gray division.
Okay, so it is going to be with the gi.
It's going to be gi and no gi. He does both.
Nice. You see, that's smart. You see, that's one of the things I always tell people back in the day. Like I was saying, because everything was like a long day process. We used to get an absolute and gi, no gi. I mean, back then, if they were to let us get in the women's division, we'd probably do it too. You know, just to get in there and compete. But yeah, I mean, that's smart because I mean, of course, you only don't get to win once but twice, right? And I mean, going into these competitions, man, tell me what are you thinking? I mean, because how old are you right now?
I'm 9.
Now, as a 9-year-old, I mean, I was eating cereal on top of a bed watching cartoons, man. So tell me, what are you thinking when you're at 9 years old? What are you thinking when you get to these tournaments?
That I'm gonna win.
Nice. No, well, I mean, that's great because, I mean, Mom, of course, you got to be nervous. I mean, when you're watching them, I mean, are you like biting your nails thinking, okay, you know what?
Yes. Yeah. Definitely. Because you never know what to expect. Like, it's always new kids. Usually he's going against somebody new every time. And, yeah, you just never know what to expect.
and I mean, of course, I mean, having trained in jiu-jitsu and grappling, I mean, you do gi, no gi, and you also do striking. So is that part of your process? Are you looking to get into a striking format, like MMA or pancration or something like that?
Yes.
And Mom, how do you feel about that?
Nervous.
You're going to be on the sidelines?
Yeah.
I mean, as a parent, and that's one of the things I tell people now, because of course, I mean, I'm up there in age. A lot of the fighters now, I'm friends with their parents on Facebook, and they're probably their number 1 fans. I mean, I have 2 guys that are in the UFC, and both their parents are on there, and I message them back and forth, and the fact that they were respectful when it comes to social media. I don't know if it has to do with the parents being there. They're older, but you never know. You still gotta listen to mom and dad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you gotta have that kind of support because I mean, he's in a good position because you're actually able to do this. I told you guys earlier. Growing up, I mean, Mom was like, for us, it was like, okay, you can either go eat lunch this week or you can take the bus this week, and we had a choice, man. So of course we used to walk to school and eat, But I mean, are you glad that Mom's able to take you to all these tournaments?
Yeah.
And I mean, when you win, is it? I mean, of course it's for yourself, but I mean, are you winning for your mom as well?
Yes, sir.
Nice. And man, I appreciate you calling me sir. It made me feel like 100 years old now, but still. No. Let me ask you. I mean, in school. I mean, right now I know you had early dismissal this morning or today.
Yes.
And how does it? I mean, your classmates, do they know what you do?
No.
And why is that? I mean, let me ask you. Why is that? I mean, do you not tell them? Do you?
I've only been there for 2 days.
Yeah,
Oh,
this
okay,
is like
that's a new
his new
school.
school,
Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay. Well, your old school. I mean, were the kids like kind of already, as far as interested in what you were doing?
Yes. Well, I had some friends that say that they're trying to do it too, but they not show up.
and that's everywhere. I mean, of course, you're gonna get, even when we were training back in the day, everybody's like, oh, I want to be a fighter, and never happens. But yeah, I mean, it's gotta be for you. I mean, one of the things, that's what I was mentioning earlier. I mean, if you were having fun with the sport, because after a while, if you start losing interest, of course, it shows. Let me ask you. I mean, of course, your instructors here, man. I mean, of course, you've got Jacob Landon, you've got Alex, helping you. Who are some of the other people that actually motivate you and push you to do better every day? I mean, like the other students or somebody or mom, because she's yelling at you.
Yeah.
And okay, well, let me ask you this: being a competitor, because when you're out there, people are taking photos, they're doing video. I mean, of course, you're on camera. Do you get nervous?
No.
And what are you thinking? I mean, do you even think about people that are outside the mat, or is it just you and whoever's on there?
I just think about what I'm doing on the mat. I don't worry about anyone else off the mat.
Nice. I like that. And Mom, I mean, of course, you're over here. I mean, are you the yelling type? Are you the soccer mom? You're like,
Oh, yeah. Yes.
And have you ever been thrown out of the mats? I mean,
No.
okay.
No.
So you're not that bad.
No.
And I mean, on this occasion, I mean, as far as grappling, I mean, you see he's already got a competition coming up. How do you guys prepare? I mean, how do you prepare as a parent?
Just do what I have to. Of course, I get everything ready. Like he's gonna need. Like I always make sure his weight to see if he's in the right weight and everything like that. And if he's a little over and he wants to do the division that he's supposed to be in, I help him. Make sure he's eating healthy. bring him to practice every day. Privates, like everything that I can do to help on my part that he wants to do, like I just do it for him.
And when you say eat healthy, I mean, what are you thinking? Because he's 9 years old. I mean, I'm like eating hot Cheetos, and I'm still doing eating hot Cheetos. But I mean, when it comes to eating healthy, what kind of meals?
I'm kind of lucky because he's always been pretty healthy, like on his own. Like he's always just been so different. Like, even if he goes out and gets like a kid's meal, he'll get a fruit cup instead of the fries, or he'll get a water soda. I'm like, are you sure? Like we're paying for the drink, and he's like, I want a water. So that's pretty much how he's been. But other than that, it's like a little extra. Make sure he's not eating too many fries. Like he'll eat salads, grilled chicken or barbecued stuff, just so it's not fried and greasy and heavy. That's pretty much what we do.
Okay, well that sounds about right, man. Because I mean, when it comes to the weight division, what weight class do you usually jump in?
To like 50 to 60.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't remember weighing that little now, but no. I mean, once again, I mean, of course, you know, you've been doing it 2 years. I mean, I'm sure you've been able to meet a lot of great people. I mean, not just here at the schools, but the academies. I mean, what are you looking at? I mean, you're 9, so say 12 years old. I mean, what are you thinking? Have a car, have a job? I mean, what's going on?
I don't really know.
You just want to live life every day, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And well, you know, I mean, I'm glad you're having fun with it. I mean, that's one of the things, like I mentioned. I mean, you know, I see a lot of these guys, and it's hard when you get older. Well, not just necessarily older, but a lot of these guys, they're training for a fight. And say they start dating or something comes, you know, and they stop, you know. So it's always something that, you know, keeps somebody. And not saying that's a wrong thing, because, you know, hey, why not? But I mean, right now there's no dating for you, right? Okay, good,
No.
smart kid. And I mean, when it comes to grappling, do you have a favorite submission?
I would say the armbar.
The armbar? Damn, that's brutal. And of course, I mean, you've been training 2 years. I mean, has there ever been a competition that you learned from more? I mean, whether you won or lost?
Yes.
And do you recall that? Or, I mean, why was it? What was it that you learned from it?
That, like...
You're good, man.
I don't really know.
But, I mean, of course, and the reason I mentioned whether you win or lose, because even when you win, there's a lot of, you know, I'm sure mom looks back and she's like, hey, look, this was open, this was... So, I mean, of course, you're learning after every tournament, after every class. I mean, I can only imagine. Mom, of course, I mean, nowadays everything's digital. You don't have like VHS tapes at home with footage,
yeah.
you know. But let me ask you, I mean, I asked you guys, as far as sponsors, I mean, of course, right now you guys don't have any. I mean, that's something that you progress. You know, you keep getting better, you keep winning. I mean, eventually you'll start getting them. But I mean, if anybody's out there looking to sponsor you, of course they can, right? I mean, Mom, I know the Instagram page. What's the handle on it?
It's just Gaige.Faulkner.
Okay, and I wanted you to say that because I saw that and I said, okay, you have the dot in front of there, and of course your photo will be on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, but sponsors, of course. I mean, here locally, I mean, we are in San Antonio. I mean, there's a lot of schools here, and I mean, back when I started, you know, once again, it was like BC, I think, before Christ, you know. But we only had, there was only like so many. There was like 2 or 3 schools. I mean, there was little, and now it's exploding,
Yes.
meaning that there's a lot more competition. I always say this because, I mean, back when I was training, I mean, I used to actually go to other schools. I used to go to other cities, and I used to roll with everybody because I was like, man, I wanted to test myself. I wasn't big on competitions, but I mean, it's good to get out there and go against people that are better than you, because that's how we learn, right? Now, let me ask you, I mean, as far as school, I mean, you're going to a new school right now. I mean, what's your favorite subject?
Math.
Really? Okay, because I need somebody to do my taxes, man. So maybe you can help me out with that later. But yeah, I mean, why is that though? I mean, is it the solving,
I don't really know.
But I mean, you enjoy that more than others.
Yeah.
And let me ask you this, because I haven't been in school in years. But when it comes to recess, do you guys still have that?
Yes.
And I mean, what did they allow you to do? I mean, go outside, play. I mean, what's the options?
It's like if you bring something, like a basketball or like a volleyball,
Oh, okay.
that they'll allow you to play with it, and that as long as you don't hurt someone else with it.
Yeah, so if mom buys you one of those Calvin mats, you can take that to school, right? Do some drills. Never know, man.
Probably might hurt someone.
Yeah, you probably have to just do solo drills, you know, practice by yourself. But Mom, I mean, of course, I mean, we have you on here. I mean, traveling. I mean, have you guys traveled outside the city for competition?
The only place we traveled out of San Antonio for his competitions was in Austin.
Okay, and how did that go?
It was a super fight. It was with Jits King Promotions, and he won.
Okay, and of course, I mean, you're thinking, okay, now I gotta drive. I mean, Austin, what, like an hour and a half, an hour, give or take?
Yeah.
I mean, was that a nuisance for you, like having to get out there?
No. It was worth it.
No, of course. I mean, definitely. And the only reason I asked is because, I mean, I haven't gone to Austin in a while, but traffic, 35, of course, it's gotten ridiculous. I told people it used to take us like an hour to get to Austin. Now it takes us an hour just to get from one side of town to the other. I mean, traffic's gotten pretty bad. But I mean, are you looking to travel more for him like later this year?
Yeah, as long as like the professor's up for it, if he's traveling anywhere, if there's a competition coming up, as long as he can go, I'll take Gaige wherever.
Nice. No, and of course, I mean, your coaches will have a say.
Yeah.
And I mean, of course, we brought you in here, buddy. I mean, what happened to your eye, man? I mean, did you grappling, of course, right? You said you were training.
No.
What happened to your eye? I mean, how did you get that shiner?
I was playing with a dog, and then I slipped and I got headbutted.
By the dog?
Yeah.
Oh, man. What kind of dog do y'all have?
It wasn't our dog.
Oh. Were you trying to grapple the dog or no?
No.
Okay. I was going to say, because PETA might get all over that, man. You never know. But yeah, you see, and that's kind of one of those things because, I mean, of course, that you get bumped and bruises here, when you're training. But for something like this to happen outside of school, it's like, hey, man, what's going on with that, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, when you went to school, I mean, what was everybody thinking?
I don't know.
They're like, man, this guy's already sparring, right?
Yep.
Now, I mean, you are a student here at the HOJ, Academy. I mean, now, as far as the striking, I know Mom said that you get up there and you get to do some striking. No sparring yet, right?
No.
Now, is there a reason for that, Mom?
It's like not in the class, but he has done sparring before. It's just here. The other kids aren't at the level yet that he's already used to because it's a lot of new kids, and I just don't think that they feel like everybody's ready yet. I think they want to wait for everybody to be ready so nobody gets hurt.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can spar with Taco. I don't think he'll mind you
Yeah.
hit him a couple times. Might have to get down, but yeah. He's actually got a fight coming up, so that might actually help the guy. Now, I mean, with that being said, I mean, there's guys here that compete. I mean, of course, the HOJ, they've got quite a bit of, people that compete in the amateur circuit. Does that influence you? Do you see that and you're thinking, man, I want to do that sometime?
Yes.
Now, with everybody that's here and everybody that's, competing, which one of the guys can you actually beat up right now? And I'm talking about the guys here at HOJ, of course.
I could beat like probably 5 of them.
not at one time though, right? But one by one. And of course, training. I mean, today, are you guys training today?
Yes.
And what time does the class normally start here? I know for the kids it's at 4.
5?
5:05.
Oh, okay. I thought it was earlier.
No, we get here early.
Oh, okay, gotcha. No, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Now, as far as location, do you guys live far from the gym?
Not really.
And I mean, the fact that it's here in downtown San Antonio, I mean, as a parent, do you like that? I mean, it's right in the center of the city.
It's good because, like he said, we live pretty close to here. Just sometimes the traffic's crazy and we have to find different ways to get around. There's construction. So other than that, it's not bad. I like the location.
And of course, I mean, Fiesta just finished, so of course that was I mean, there's construction and detours and everything. So yeah, it took a little bit longer to get out here.
Yeah.
And as far as back to jiu-jitsu, man. I mean, what is it that you like about the school? I mean, here at the HOJ, can you tell us?
That I have a coach that's always going one-on-one with me, so I get better for stuff that I do.
And that's of course that's Coach Jacob Landon.
Yes.
I think you're making him look better though, man. I think that's what it is. Man. He's probably just using you for your skill, bro, because he's getting up there in age, so he can't move as fast as he used to. No, but yeah, man. I mean, of course, and that's one of the things. Once again, back when I was training, my old instructor, and of course, I mean, it was good for me because I could relate to what he was doing. But you gotta have that relationship with not just the instructor, but the students, right? I mean, you wanna come in here, be at peace, be able to train, and not worry about you know, any politics or anything else that's out there. Now, Mom, as far as I mean, of course, you said you bring them for privates. Have you been able to take them to privates like outside the city, like for schools or with other instructors?
No, he was it wasn't really jiu-jitsu, but he was going to be in a wrestling team, so I know I've taken him for that, like for him to do just the wrestling, and he, of course, he's still be doing both, but I know it helps with the jiu-jitsu as well.
No, yeah, I mean, especially with your stand-up, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, going back to the wrestling, the whole WWE, I mean, can you see yourself doing that later on in life?
Probably not.
Why is that? Too much traveling, or you don't want to be that famous?
Probably too much traveling.
Oh yeah. I mean, they keep saying. I think. I mean, it's like a circus. You know, they just travel the states, and of course, you got to go along with them. So yeah, it can get pretty old. Now, I mean, back to jiu-jitsu. Is there somebody outside the gym that you look up to? Like, I mean, is there anybody out there that you're like, man, like that's somebody I can keep learning from?
Kind of.
And I mean, is it like somebody in particular? I mean, as far as like, can you throw a name out there?
He's in the UFC. I like look up to him, and he is Anthony Hernandez.
Oh, okay, sweet, man. Yeah, you seen. And I mean, the thing with that, bro, because even now, I mean, jiu-jitsu, it's so, it kind of reminds me of skateboarding. I mean, I'm old, but I still skateboard. And when I go out there, there's kids. I mean, there's, you know, teenagers and people in their 20s and 30s. But it's just like music or anything else. You get in there with the gym and you can relate, and you kind of have that little, that bond, I guess you can say, right?
Yes.
Now, I mean, you know, of course, you know, UFC guys, MMA guys, I mean, is that something, like I mentioned earlier, I mean, when you, later on in life, I mean, are you looking to compete? I mean, are you looking to get into, like, make it a career? I mean, I know you're only 9, but...
Yes.
Can you? Man, that's sweet. And of course, you're going to stick with school, though, right, Mom? You're going to make sure he gets his college before you get out there, man. And, I mean, the only reason I say that is because, I mean, you know, I mean, even these guys now, they've been fighting for years, but, I mean, you can't fight forever. So, of course, you know, make sure, get that education in there. And Mom, I mean, having done this already 2 years, I mean, do you get something out of it? Did they give you a belt for taking them everywhere, or what's going on?
At his old gym, they gave me a cup.
Hey, I'll take it.
It was nice.
No, and you know, and it's got to be one thing, because it's just like I said earlier. I mean, if he's competing, then you know you got to be out there.
Yes.
Now, as far as the support, I mean, from Mom, I mean, is there any like family members that kind of support this, or they see him and think like, man, I want to? Do they support him like that? Like go to his tournaments?
My mom tries to as much as she can. But mostly it's just usually me there, and I'll take like one of his friends that doesn't. So he'll have somebody like, if he's like, so he won't be so nervous. He'll be there playing and everything and talking with them.
Oh, okay.
You know, it calms his nerves. Like, yeah.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I always try to make sure we have like, if nobody from the gym's gonna compete, because sometimes it'll just be him and one friend. But now that he has that one friend going with him, like he'll have him. But like when he did his first tournament here, it was only him, and of course I took his best friend with us. Like so that'll help him calm. You know.
Did that work when your mom took a friend with you?
Yes.
That's actually smart, Mom. I would have never thought about that.
Yeah.
I would have just been like, suck it up. and of course, let me ask you, because I mean, you do watch him compete. I mean, you see him. Has he ever been in a bad spot and you're thinking like, man, I mean, do you yourself learn and you're thinking, man, he could have done this, he could have gotten out this way?
Yeah. It's crazy, and I always like, I'll see him and I'm like thinking like, oh, because sometimes too, like they call it so fast, and if he has the chance to get out of it, I always trust that he will, because he's pretty good. Not only that, like even when I do privates, like I make sure I do some specifically for him to know how to get out of the submissions. Yeah. So that helps so much, like, because he knows what to do when he gets in those situations.
No, you see, and that's one of the things, like myself, I mean, when I first started training, and we would get new guys in, you know, I would always bring the new guys just because everybody else would beat them up. So I'll be like, you know what, let's go over this. But I would purposely put myself in bad situation just to get out of it, because they got to learn, they got to take it easy, and of course, you know, I worked on my defense. Now, have you ever been in a bad spot? I mean, can you think of a time where you were like so close to tapping and you were like, man, I gotta get out of this?
Not really.
No?
I haven't been in a situation like that for a long time, like a year already.
Okay. But I mean, of course, I mean, with that being said, I mean, it can happen. It probably will happen later in life. You know, as far as you competing as much as you do. Let me ask you this: are you okay with taking a loss? I mean, you don't want it. I know you don't want it. Mentally, you're not gonna lose, but can you at 9 years old say, okay, you know what? If I lost, I can keep going. There's another tournament next month.
Yes.
Okay, and I'm glad you said that, because think about it this way. There's black belts in jiu-jitsu that compete in worlds and go and they lose. They're black belts, but they lose because of the competition that day, and they come back and they win. You know, it's something that happens in life. And I'm glad you can, you know, you can understand that, because, I mean, of course, you know, with everything, I mean, sometimes we win, sometimes we lose, but every day we learn. I mean, it's a cliche and people say it, but, I mean, it's true. I mean, you know, you can go back home and think, okay, you know what, I'm not going to do that again, and you learn from it. But yeah, not anytime soon, of course. You know, you're going to keep winning. And, I mean, earlier you had mentioned that. You said, you know, when you go in there, you tell yourself you're going to win. At 9 years old, can you focus that much and say, okay, you know what, like, say if you're at a carnival and you want to play a game and you're thinking, okay, I'm going to hit that.
Yes.
Can you project that? Can you really? That's good, man. Next year I'm gonna take it to the carnival, man, because I wanna always try to win those big bears, and it never works out. Now, agility. I mean, taking them. Have you guys? Let me ask you this: have you ever taken them to Fiesta, Texas? Like, since he's been training.
Mostly SeaWorld.
SeaWorld. And the only reason I ask is because they have like the ladder that you can climb, and have they ever done that since he's been training? I'm just curious. No. I'm just like wondering if maybe you got those agility skills on you, man. You never know.
Yeah.
And man, I mean, there's so much to cover. I mean, the next tournament, of course, like you mentioned, it's going to be here in San Antonio. And I mean, the roster. How soon do you guys know who he's going to compete, or how many times?
I check every day, because like kids will drop in at the last minute, so I check every day, and he knows. I'll let him know, like, okay, like, this is who you're going against, like, this is the school they go to, and like we pretty much know, like, from seeing them at other tournaments, like what they go for, what they do. So we look into everything just to have him ready, like, you know, prepared.
No, and of course, because I mean, he has done super fights. So I mean, are you a fan of that? Would you rather compete one time, or would you rather go through a tournament and go 3-4 times?
I would say a tournament, because I have more of an opportunity to win in a tournament, like first place, than I do in a super fight.
Okay, well, that's good. Now, I mean, of course, because I mean, since you've been doing this, I mean, of course, they have open mat here. Have you had to go against somebody that you train with, or compete against somebody you've trained with?
Yes.
And how did you feel about that?
Oh wait, no, actually I haven't. Wait, oh yeah, I have.
Like, yeah.
I mean, when you win against somebody, because it's just like here when you guys have class and they tell you, okay, pair up, and you go against somebody. So does that bother you in competition, having to go against somebody you know?
No. All I do is that I don't try to hurt them. I just like try to get as much points as I can. Oh, okay. So I don't hurt them from like a submission or something where they can't come for a long time.
Yeah, because you need them, right? You're a smart man, man. I would have tapped them out and care him, and I'm just joking. I would have cranked that, you know. No. But that's, I mean, that's good. That's good of you, man. I appreciate you saying that, because
I mean, at my last gym, I have done that before. I went against one of my friends. I was like, because like if you're going against someone at your gym, there's no coaches.
Right.
In both sides. So, like, it's either you have a chance to flip a coin and see, like, if it's heads, you win, tails, you win, or, like, if it's the other way around.
Right.
But then the coaches can also decide if you want to do submissions or points. Okay. So then the coaches decided for me and my friend to do submissions. So, I was going there. Then I went straight for on board, and I won.
And you took the coin. You're like, give me that, man. No, you see, and I guess I had never thought about that, because yeah, I mean, when you're in class, I mean, you see, and I had really never thought about that. When you're in class, I mean, of course, everybody has the same coach, so you don't get coached. I mean, when you're out there, does it bother you when you're training in competition and your coach is telling you what to do, or are you mentally prepared for that?
I'm mentally prepared for that.
Man, I would never thought of that. Mm-hmm. That's a good. I'm gonna have to ask some of these fighters because they probably don't know. Man. These guys are dumb. No, I'm just joking. No, but I mean, you know, it's true because in class, I mean, there's times where like a fighter's getting ready for a fight, and the coach, of course, is coaching him for that. But I mean, when it comes to like a sparring, it's just like an open, like a freestyle, you know. But Mom, I mean, of course, I mean, him doing this, you know, I mean, say 2 years from now, I mean, of course, he's only gonna get better. I mean, if they start calling him to go and travel, like, you know, California, they start going to, you know, all these places. I mean, are you ready for that? Are you ready to pack up and go for a weekend?
Yeah. Yeah, I will.
You see, you just want to go somewhere, man. You know, of course, she'll be there in your tournament, but, you know, she wants to go shopping or something. Do you guys like to go shopping? Like, when you guys go out? I mean...
Not really.
It depends where. If he's somewhere he's gonna think he's gonna get like a game or a toy, of course he's gonna want to go. But if it's like, oh, let's go shopping for clothes, he's like, no, I don't want to go.
He's like, I already got a gi, already got rash guards, right?
Yeah, he like lives in that.
And games. I mean, Mom mentioned, of course, you know, when it comes to games at home, and what is it you normally play?
Probably like sport games.
Okay.
Like. Probably like UFC 3, UFC 4, or like basketball, NBA's, and probably WWE.
Of course. And what system do you play?
I have Xbox One.
Oh, okay. And I asked because I still play my Nintendo, so yeah, I didn't go past that. But I mean, Mom, are you a fan of games?
No.
No,
on my phone. That's it.
What do you have on your phone?
I just play mostly like music games, like where you have to catch the notes on time, stuff like that.
Okay.
I like puzzles and stuff, so.
Okay. Now, I mean, of course, I mean, when it comes to, I mean, here in San Antonio, I mean, what are some of your favorite spots to go to here in the city? I mean, when Mom's like, hey, let's go to a park or let's go somewhere, where do you guys normally?
Probably like somewhere downtown.
Okay, and that's because it's close to the gym, right? You just want to come train?
Yeah, he likes to go to the Hemisphere. Sometimes we'll take him and like some of his little gym friends, and we'll take them after practice to go play. Because, you know, they practice and that way they can play too. And it's not only just the practicing.
You're saying that, I mean, that's good though. I mean, are you okay with that? With Mom, you know, kind of breaking away from training and just doing something else?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good, man. Because, yeah, you gotta, you know, you don't want to plateau and get it so much to where, you know, like I said, I mean, eventually people do, you know, not everybody, but some people do get tired of it and they're like, you know what, let me do something else. But yeah, I like that. I mean, of course, you know, 9 years old, man. I mean, you're a kid. You're still young, should I say? I mean, what is it like right now? I mean, with school, I mean, the situation. When you go out there, would you like? They don't have wrestling where you're at, right? Like as far as like wrestling.
I don't think so.
His first school that we had left from that his brother and sister go to, they do have a wrestling team.
Okay, you see, and the reason I'm asking is because I mean, of course, I don't think it would ever happen. But if they were to start having like jiu-jitsu or start having like a class where you could go during school, I mean, would you be happy with that?
Only if you have good coaches.
There you go. Spoken like a true warrior, man. No, you see, I mean, myself, I mean, back here in San, I was teaching in 2005, and when I was teaching, I was teaching inside of a mall. You know, it was a martial arts place. And I had actually gone to Palo Alto College and I had inquired about using the space. I said, you know what, I want to teach. And they actually put me up for a curriculum. So I was actually getting paid to teach, which wasn't much because it was only like an hour. But I just thought that was cool because, you know, they didn't have it back then. I don't even think they have it now. I mean, I only did it for like a semester. But I always thought that'd be pretty good. I mean, even if it wasn't necessarily jiu-jitsu, I mean, say if they were to have like karate or kickboxing at school, you know, I think that would be like a good outlet instead of, you know, not everybody wants to play basketball or football or, you know, volleyball, but I mean, I think that would be pretty great. Now, let me ask you, I mean, of course you said you have friends at school that, you know, you tell them that you come over here. I mean, you know, you're on video, man. Do you want to invite some people and tell them, hey, you know what, even if, you know, I mean, for them to at least get into something, I mean, what would you say? I mean, is it good? Is it something they should look forward to?
I usually tell them, like, about gyms, so like, because most of them do not know how to defend themselves.
Yeah.
So I'm fun to tell them like, you should come over here because it's good to help you defend yourself.
Yeah, man. You see, and one of the things about, I mean, because even jiu-jitsu, I mean, all these forms are still a martial arts. I mean, there's still a lot of respect. There's still a lot of honor. I mean, for when you step on the mat. And one of the things I tell people is when people, I mean, you know, people are like, oh, I want to fight, I want to do this, but when you come into a place like this, you end up learning a lot more than just fighting.
Yes.
You know, you learn to kind of restrain, you learn to say no, you learn to walk away. And I mean, at 9 years old, if you were to say if somebody were to walk by and grab your arm and try to pull you, I mean, would you be able to defend yourself like that? I mean, enough to where you can get away?
Yeah, if they don't know what to say, tell us it's on board.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, you know, I mean, you got to learn something. I mean, not just as a kid, but I mean, men, women, I mean, it's good for everybody. And of course, I mean, Mom, you know, you're learning while you're watching, so, you know, you're not paying for it, so I'm going to have to tell Jacob to start charging you. No, but I mean, would you be interested in doing a class?
I've always thought about it, but I don't know. Maybe if they had like a women's class, I'd feel more comfortable with that.
Okay. And the reason I ask is, of course, because I mean, you're here, you know, while he's training. So I mean, for them to actually throw a class for just, you know, for moms or just, you know, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that would. Because I know some of the other moms too. They would even be interested in it, but it's the same thing as like me, like, you know. Yeah. So that would be cool.
You see, and if Mom were to do that, now you'd have to hire a photographer or a videographer, man. Somebody to watch your video.
Yep.
Now, earlier you mentioned a UFC game. I mean, I don't think there is a jiu-jitsu game like a you know, console, right?
No.
That would be, I don't know, I'm gonna have to contact Xbox and see for them to come up with something, man. You never know.
Yeah.
Now, of course, you watch the UFC, right? You guys watch the fights?
Sometimes.
Yeah, when we can.
No, I mean, I'm the same way, and I cover this, so I try to catch them as much as I can. But, I mean, Mom, once again, I mean, if you know, say he's 18, 19, 20, and he's like, hey, I'm ready to go compete, Mom, I mean, are you going to be there watching?
Yes.
And, I mean, as a parent, I mean, obviously it's the normal. I mean, you're scared, you're nervous, you're like, man, you don't want your kid to get hurt. But, I mean, how do you think you would do if you were to see him compete in the cage?
I'd be nervous, but I see all the hard work he puts in, so I know he knows what he's doing. Just trust that he knows what he's doing.
And let me ask you this, because the other day, I know they have classes for kids where they wear headgear, they wear gloves, and they do like that pancreation I had posted like the other day. Would you be interested in doing something like that?
I don't really know.
I mean, not now, but I'm saying like, you know, a year from now, 2 years from now.
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, because I mean, if anything, I mean, there's a lot of smokers out there, and of course, you know, even as adults, you know, people can go in there and just scratch it off their bucket list and see if they, you know, just did it one time. But I mean, I think that would be, you know, especially if you're looking to get into that, you know, that platform later, that'd be pretty cool. Because even then, I mean, and I will say this, just like with a lot of things, like in MMA, it is a sport, but there's not a lot of money in it in the beginning. And of course, if you do it, it's because you want to, not because, you know, you're trying to get rich. But yeah, but even if you were to stick with grappling, man, I think you'd probably make more money. You'd probably get paid a little bit better. Now, as far as gear, I mean, what do you normally wear when you're out there training?
Usually, all we do is do gi. So
Okay.
I always either have like a no gi under, or I don't have set under.
And of course, I mean, with the gi, I mean, what do you prefer? Will you prefer the gi or no gi when it comes to with the competition?
Because you have more grips.
Nice.
And because it's easier to get more submissions.
Well, yeah, because they can't slip away, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, of course, I mean, here at the HOJ, I mean, they do both. They do gi, no gi. I mean, is there one submission that you, I guess you're better in with the gi than you are without the gi? I mean, of course, you said the arm bar, but...
Yeah, I'll usually, like, I've tapped, like, I've done a tournament where I tapped everyone out under a minute with one arm bar.
And it was with the gi, yeah. I was just right into it.
And everybody was with an arm bar?
It was, yeah.
Oh, nice.
And it was like his coach that went with him that day, like he had literally just showed him that arm bar right there at the tournament. Like right before he went on the mats. Like he just showed it to him and he got it, used it, and that was it.
Man. You see, and one of the things I like, I mean, and it even goes with MMA, I mean, the coaches are always there to make sure everybody's safe. I mean, as kids, I know they kind of jump on it real quick because of course they don't want the kids to get injured. But man, I mean, let me ask you this: if, later on, I mean, because a lot of tournaments, when I mean, they ask for volunteers, they ask for referees to volunteer, help run the tournament. Would you be interested in doing something like that also later on?
Probably.
I mean, after your round, right? And then go referee. Yeah, man. And the only reason I ask is because then it happens. Higher belts, of course, they get asked to go and help out, and and I think it's a great thing because you get involved. You stay involved.
Yeah.
And I mean, of course, the fact that you know the move and if somebody gets caught, you already know, like, okay, you know what, let's stop it before it gets even further.
Yes.
And now, I mean, and I can refer in this to the whole 9 years old thing, man, because that's pretty cool. I mean, at 9 years old, I mean, do you watch cartoons? Is there any cartoons out there that you watch that you're like?
No.
No.
I don't really watch cartoons anymore.
Man, you're making me feel bad, man. No, and the only reason I ask is, I mean, Mom, I mean, growing up, I mean, were you watching cartoons growing up, or were you more? You see, and like for me, it never stopped. I still watch cartoons, man. I ain't gonna lie, but I mean, there was a time, as we get older, we kind of like get away from it, and we always go back. But I mean. I mean, looking back now, I mean, at 9 years old, I mean, do you think you would be doing something like this? Mom, of course.
If my parents would have put me in it, I probably would have.
Really?
Yeah.
You see, and of course, I mean, I mean, for us, there was 8 of us. There was 10 with Mom and Dad, so we were like our own tribe, basically. But I mean, it was hard for us, of course, because the money,
Yes.
So Mom was always, everything was hand-me-downs, everything was like, we got what we did, what was handed to it, and we were okay with it. But yeah, I mean, there was a couple of times growing up where I wanted to go to the Boy Scouts, I wanted to go to summer camp, I wanted to do something, and it was never the case. There was always money issues. But I mean, the fact that you're doing this for him, you're actually going and taking him everywhere. I mean, I think that's great. I mean, I know it's not everybody can do it. I mean, I know that, but I mean, because of that, I mean, of course, you say you're glad mom does this, but I mean, how do you feel, the fact that she does this for you?
I feel grateful.
Yeah, and I mean, you should, man, because, it's just, I mean, as parents, and I will say this, I mean, we don't have to do anything for our kids. We do it because as parents, we want to, of course, education, roof over their head, clean the room. I don't know if you do that, but, we'll get to that later. But yeah, man. I mean, but it's a good thing. And I mean, a lot of times as kids we don't appreciate it till later on in life. But I mean, there's a lot of things that parents go far and beyond and actually help us accomplish a lot. Now, I mean, of course, once again, you're only 9. You're only 9 years old. Is there a career? Is there something out there that you see people doing now that you're like, you know what? I want to do that when I get older.
Kind of.
But what is it? Is it like a profession or is it just?
I don't really know.
No. You see, and I only ask because I mean you're 9 and you're already far ahead of the game when it comes to jiu-jitsu. So I'm thinking, you know what? I mean that's pretty cool, man. I like that. And I mean, of course, then mom will know if you're lying, man. But how's the grades at school, man? How are you doing?
Good.
Now. And is that something as a parent you stay on?
Yeah, like that's another thing too. Like he's naturally just been so good at schooling. Like he's been GT since first grade. So he's always in GT every year. They always nominate him ever since. Even in kinder, like when they tested him, like he tested above like the national average for kinder. Nice. So he's always been ahead of it. Like, and it's just him naturally just. I don't know.
And of course, do you get that from mom or grandpa or grandma? Now, were you good? I mean, when they came to school, were you?
Yeah, well, GT started in 3rd grade when I was in school, so I was in it too. Same thing.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Okay.
I think I've been in GT 3 times already for 1st, 2nd, and 4th because 3rd it was online.
Oh, okay, with the whole epidemic.
Yeah.
You see, and let me ask you, when all this was going on with COVID, I mean, were you okay with it? Did you like being home, going to school, or would you rather be out in school?
I'd rather be out.
Yeah, you see, and that was the thing with a lot of kids, right, Mom? I mean, there was even my kid, my oldest, she was in college in Victoria, and she was just like, Dad, I can't, she couldn't do the whole online thing. It wasn't for her, and I relate because I'm, when it comes to like techie stuff, I can't do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, once again, I mean, jiu-jitsu, Mom, you're learning, when he's going to school, are you learning also? His homework and everything else?
I don't know. Like, a lot of the times, like, now in school, they have a class where they can do their homework before they get home, so.
Oh, okay.
He already has it done.
Really? I didn't even, yeah. We used to call that last period, bro. We just cram everything and get everything. That way I wouldn't have homework.
Yeah.
It was funny because, like, the school that I went to before this school, I missed because they do 4 days and then on Fridays they'll do parties. Like throw little parties.
Yeah, I want to go to school. I don't want to go to that school.
So I missed 3 days and there was a test for math. And it was more of, I would say, like adding.
Right.
And adding and subtracting fractions.
Okay.
So I was the only one that got a 100, and I missed it 3 days before the test.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. You see, you just said fraction, you lost me. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
You see, I used to do. I think it was in high school. We had a shop class that we took as an alternative, and we learned measurements. And when he was going over the measurements, how to 1/16, 1/8, 3/16, 1/4, and I still got that by memory. We did it so much. It made me realize fractions right there and then, and I was like, man, it was so easy. Like I didn't catch it as a kid because I don't know if it was the teacher as far as the way they were presenting it, but yeah, I mean, you're 9 years old, so of course everything you're learning. I mean, they say it's like a sponge. You should be learning everything, right? I mean, when it comes to jiu-jitsu, I mean, what is it that you see yourself doing with it? I mean, competing, but I mean, one day when you get older, you want to start teaching as well?
Yes.
Okay, sweet, man. I like that. And of course, by that time, Mom maybe will be a white belt with 2 stripes. Who knows? We'll see. And well, I mean, when it comes to the class here, of course, I mean, we are inside the HOG Academy. I mean, class is gonna start. I mean, do you have? And I'm sure you like to roll with everybody, but is there like somebody that you're like, man, I hope they show up because they push you that much more?
Yes, he's a yellow black belt, and he used to go to the same gym that I used to.
Oh, okay.
So, like, now I like to go with him, but even though, like, sometimes I beat him, which is most of the times, she's still fine, like, she's still good at, like, striking and jiu-jitsu because he does the adults now. She doesn't really do the kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, well that's good. I mean, yeah, because of course, I mean, like I said earlier, and it happens with every school, every gym. You get a favorite, and you're like, oh, okay, I want to, your rolling buddy, what they call it, right?
Yeah.
But when you guys get new kids in here, I mean, what do you do? Like when you see a new kid, are you like, man, I'm gonna tear this kid apart, or are you just like, hey, you know what? Let me take it easy on this kid.
What happens when I see a new kid coming to the gym? I think to myself that I want them to be as good as I am. I want them to be good so the gym could be good and it will have like higher stuff, like more wins, less losses, and then yeah, that's really what I do. I like to push kids so they get better when they're new, and most of the times that's what I do.
No, that's good though, man. Yeah, I mean, like I was saying earlier, I mean, when I was going to class, I mean, yeah, like the other guys would shred people up, man, and I mean, they wouldn't come back, and I'm like, damn, that's more people that we could have had, and so they never looked at it that way, but I would take it upon myself literally to like get them in and tell them, hey, let's roll, man, let's practice, and let's, take it easy on them for the most part, but yeah, because I mean, it's like people come in, they get beat up, they don't want to come back, right? They're gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna pay to get beat up and do that at home, right? Now, I mean, once again, music. What kind of music do you listen to?
I don't really know. Well, I know I know my favorite artist like name, and it's Easy McCoy. I have like a lot of his songs on my playlist that I listen to before practice. Like coming from school to practice, I listen to it so to get me pumped up for practice.
And I was gonna ask you, is there a reason for that? But yeah, I mean, of course. And of course, it's whatever mom's blasting on the way over here, right? Too, because mom's got to listen to her music, man.
Like if we're going somewhere for him, I like just let him have his playlist. Like that's it.
But then if we're not, he has her playlist on.
Yeah.
And of course, you got to put up with it, right? You're like, she's your ride home. Now, I mean, music. I mean, you talked about food earlier, as far as you not being a bad eater, let's say. I mean. You see a lot of these athletes right now, and when it comes to like the competitions, a lot of them have meal plans, and it's basically because we don't have time to go home, cook, and do everything every day. But something like that. I mean, as you get older, is that something you'd be looking at, like for somebody to actually help you with your meals? I mean, of course, mom, but give mom a break maybe.
Yes, like probably a personal chef, so they can like cook me stuff that's healthy, that I could have like before tournaments and stuff.
And of course, I mean, you like eating healthy, but is there one snack, one candy, one something that you just gotta have?
I don't really know.
No?
Because like most of the times I don't really eat sweets. I just eat like healthy. And if I do eat sweets, they'll probably only be like chips or anything.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
That's like the only thing that I'll eat that's unhealthy.
Okay, well, yeah, man. I mean, I eat that for breakfast. So yeah, I know what you mean, man. No, but yeah, I mean that's good, man. And the fact that you're still a kid and you're doing so great, I would say. That's pretty awesome, man. Now, when it comes to competition, I mean, of course, mom says she'd be okay with packing and going to California. Traveling like that. Would you say like in 2-3 years or even soon? I mean, would you be okay with traveling to another state to compete?
Kind of.
Or have you guys ever flown anywhere?
No, I haven't.
I have. Yeah, he hasn't.
No, and are you afraid, would you be okay with flying somewhere?
Only if I don't look down.
There you go. I thought you were gonna say only if it's first class. I was gonna say,
no.
You don't know, man. You don't know. But yeah, man. I mean, because a lot of adults do that now. They go to the nationals, tournaments out there in California. Mm-hmm. I mean, Texas has gotten like hot, should I say, when it comes to tournaments. Yeah. Austin, of course, they've been bringing in good people, and it's just like crazy. Here in San Antonio, like I said, I mean, when I was going, there was like 3 schools that were doing somewhat jiu-jitsu, MMA, but now it's probably like 20-30 schools right now, gyms, academies out there, so there's a lot of competition, man. I mean, for people out there that are watching and they're like, man, I can take this kid on. Now, what do you say? Match it up, right?
Yeah.
and of course, I mean, when you go out there, I mean, there's no, do you ever go out there like angry or upset, or when you go out there, you just like, hey, it's just business?
I just go out there confident in myself, thinking every time that I'm gonna win, I'm the best, and I just go out there for my best. If I win, I'll be nice, won't be like all rubbing it into my opponent's face, and be respectful. But if I lose, I'll still be respectful, tell them that they did a good role with me, like I want someone to push me like that. And yeah.
That's good, man. I mean, I like that mentality because yeah, even I mean, I always tell everybody. I mean, every school's got something different. Every instructor's got something. Whether it's their style of teaching, them being unique. So I mean, there's a lot to learn, So of course, I mean, when you get older, you start traveling, you start going to other schools, other places. I mean, there's so much to pick up. I mean, right now that you're only 9, and like I said, I keep going back to that because that's just amazing. But I mean, I can see you only getting better, of course, So I mean, as time comes up, I mean, you'll probably get too big to come back in here. So I'm glad I got you right now while you're still fresh. But I mean, Mom, I mean, of course, we talked about sponsors. I mean, if he does start doing, you said as far as stepping up in competition. I mean, are you guys looking for sponsors?
Yeah, we're always open to it. Yeah, that would help.
Oh yeah, because I mean, of course, I mean, travel. You know, we talked about the fees going in to compete. I mean, of course.
Yeah.
You know, when it comes to gear, of course, you know that costs a pretty penny.
Yeah.
And let me ask you this: how often do you get new gear?
I don't really know. Like, if it's something that I like, we'll mostly like get it.
Of course, you gotta ask mom, right?
Yeah.
But, but I mean, when you wear gear, what is it that you like about it? Is it the material, the design?
It's the design.
Design, okay. And of course, you said earlier, I mean, you prefer gi over. I mean, you do both, of course, but I mean, you prefer gi over no gi. So, I mean, when it comes to gi, what colors do you normally wear, or is there a set code here at the academy?
Usually, I would wear probably like a black gi.
Okay, sweet.
Because black is my favorite color.
Is that why you got that black eye? No, I'm just joking. I'm joking. No. But yeah, I mean, of course, I mean, here at the academy, of course, you know, Jacob's been open for a few months, and I mean, it's a great facility. It's a great place. You know, I mean, like you said, there's more people coming in here, so of course, you're gonna get more people to roll with.
Yeah.
So, of course, I mean, with that being said, not just here in HOJ, I mean, all over the world, people are watching. You know, if they're looking to compete or to get into some sort of jiu-jitsu class, I mean, of course, you would say yes, right, for them to try it.
Yeah.
And mom, I mean, of course, you mentioned, I mean, an all-women's class, even if it's self-defense or just, you know, I mean, that's something that, you know, I'd never thought of, but yeah, I mean, that would be pretty cool because not, you know, you'd be comfortable, you'd be in your own group, I guess you can say.
Yeah.
Be along with other moms just wanting to learn. You know?
Yeah.
And of course now you can learn, you know, how to defend his submission, so that way, you know, you can put mom to sleep, buddy. Sorry. I mean, let me ask you this: when you're at home, do you practice at home?
I do not practice at home. What I do when I'm at my home, it's usually work out because we have like punching bags, treadmills, like basically our own gym.
Right.
In the house.
And of course, you mentioned earlier. I mean, of course, I think you said you had like a speed ladder and you had like some other utility.
Yes.
So that's pretty cool, man. You see, that's one thing. Once again, you know, when I started, at one time my instructor, he was teaching inside a gymnasium. And I used to see kids like yourself, you know, walking around with six packs and built, and I'm thinking like, man, what are these guys doing, man? And that's when I started. It was like 2003, 2004, and I started realizing like, you know what, man? Like I started getting into body weight training, agility drills. I started training with this one soccer player that was from Cruz Azul at Incarnate Word, and he put me through drills, and I was like, damn, you know, I mean, he used to blow out my legs, but because of that, I mean, I got faster, I got stronger. So the fact that you're doing that now, man, that's actually pretty impressive as well, because, I mean, why not? You know, if you go to soccer, if you go to football, they're going to put you through the same drills. You know, you're only going to get better, faster, stronger. I mean, since doing them, have you felt yourself gotten a little bit stronger?
Yes.
Sweet.
It's also funny how this weekend I have a tournament, and the weekend after that I have another tournament.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
But then after the tournament, the next day is my birthday.
Oh, nice,
Yeah.
man. You see, so you're going to win for your birthday, right?
Yep.
Nice.
Just bring my medals to my birthday.
and of course, you're going to be 10. I mean, after 10, it's all downhill from there, buddy. I'm sorry to tell you, man. No, I'm just joking. No, but I mean, at 10 years old, when does the bracket change for kids? Do you know, like what age?
Every tournament's different. Like right now, a lot of them are 8 to 9. So when he turns 10, it'll probably be more of the 10 to 11.
Oh, okay, and you're ready for that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Why not?
I mean, I already beat people that are older than probably like 20.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, and let me say this, because there's a fighter. I mean, the guy, his name's Mark Lozano, and I brought him on the show a couple of times. And he was a prodigy like yourself, man. He started off 12, 13. He was still a teenager when he was going against black belts, and he was winning. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, of course, you know, the talent pool starts early, man. So the fact that you're doing this now, you know, by the time you're 13, 14, 15, you know, you're going to be on a whole different level, man. So I look forward to that. And I mean, man, I want to thank you guys, for coming in here, of course. And I mean, I do follow you on Instagram, so I mean, of course, everybody watching, I mean, of course, not just on Facebook, but on Instagram as well. Do you guys have any other outlets out there?
I think she manages Facebook.
Right.
And
TikTok.
Oh, okay, and I was gonna say TikTok also.
Yeah.
Do you dance on there or no?
No.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, because you'll get more fans, man, but you can put a gi on and do some moves, right? And I mean, what do you guys do on the TikTok? What do you guys post on there?
It's pretty much that's where I make the videos for him.
Oh,
I make them
okay.
there, and then I share them to
Gotcha.
Instagram.
You see, and that's one thing I had told one of my buddies, because of course you can download music, you can edit, so that's smart, you can actually do that.
It's funny how, like, I would say March 13th until now, I have not lost.
That's good. No, you see, and
So,
that's good, man.
That basically means I've been undefeated for a whole year.
Damn, you see, no pressure, right?
No.
There you go, man. No, man, you see, and that's great, because, I mean, just the fact that your mentality is that strong, you're thinking you are going to win, and I believe you, that says a lot, because, of course, you don't want to go into competitions thinking, oh, man, I don't know, or I don't feel, save that for after the match, but definitely go in there, feet first. Now, let me ask you, when it comes to grappling, do you prefer takedowns or jumping guard?
It depends on what they do. If
Okay.
they're like a wrestler, I pull guard. If they're guard puller, if they try to pull guard on me, I just turn around and walk away.
Man, that's pretty amazing. I'm shocked. I'm surprised that you actually can break that down. I mean, I talking to you this few minutes, of course I can believe it, because you're definitely on that game. I mean, Mom, of course, once again, I mean, I'm pretty sure you're his #1 fan.
Yeah.
And when it comes to, I mean, for the tournaments, I mean, of course, you said, I mean, sponsors, of course, you guys are more than willing to pull some in. Are there like any local shops that you guys normally hit? Like, I mean, does he have like a victory place he likes to go eat at?
His favorite place is Bimmeller's.
Yep.
Ah, there you go, man. There's nothing wrong with that. Matter of fact, we're going after this, bro, just for that, man. No, but yeah, because I mean, I asked for that reason because when it comes to sponsors, a lot of fighters and MMA, of course, they go to their favorite shack or favorite burger place, but that, hey, can't go wrong with Bill Miller. So even if they give you a free meal, but I take it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, but thank you guys. I mean, of course, I mean, we are here at the HOD Academy inside. This is the Fight Card Podcast. I mean, anything you want to say to anybody out there?
All I would say is, like, never give up on your dreams. Because I almost did that in my first tournament. It's because I went against 2 different people.
Right.
It was a girl and it was a boy. The boy, he got on by me. And they didn't call it.
Oh, okay.
So then the girl got an arm by me. They caught it immediately.
Oh, okay.
And then the boy beat the girl, but then they made them rematch again, and then the girl won. So I'm like, that ain't really fair. How? And they put me in a upper division.
Yeah.
Then,
Okay.
cause I was supposed to do beginners, but they put me in intermediate.
Yeah, he'd only been training for like a month at the most.
Oh,
And
what do you
I was
see?
like, is it beginners? Like, what did I sign him up for? I don't know. And they just threw him in the one that's like for a year, and they've been training already for a year, and it was like a higher weight too, because he's so small, and it was just like.
Man, well, you see, the fact that you were actually able to do that and keep going, that's actually pretty good, man, because, it's just like with MMA. A lot of these guys, they fight, they compete, and they lose, and a lot of times they don't want to do it again, but they get over that little obstacle, but I mean, if you have barely started, I'm not going to say I'm glad you got it early, but I mean, it's kind of good, because now you're like, okay, well, you know what, you've been through that, you can keep moving forward. I mean, there's a thing that they say it goes for everything in life, but I mean, it's a never leave it up to the judges. So
Yeah.
of course, always go for that finish. Of course, always, like you said, you like to score points. Get in there and definitely do that. Keep winning. And Mom, what about you? Is there anything parents out there? I mean, you want to say, you want to let them know, like, hey, you know what? I mean, it's definitely a good investment for them to actually participate and get involved with their kids.
Yeah, it's helped, like, not in so many ways, like, not only the self-defense, like you said, like, he's so much, like, he's so respectful, like, he's just does good overall. Like he's like just it helped him in every single way that you could possibly think. So it was a really good investment, and then also just seeing him doing what he loves, it just that itself is like more than I can even. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I mean, I'm glad you're able to do that because, like I said earlier, not a lot of parents can. You know, I mean, there's you know, not just money but time. You know, a lot of it has to do with timing. But I mean, the fact that it's close to you guys, you know, I mean, that's a great thing. You know, let me ask you before I wrap this up. When it comes to sports, is there any other sport that you would like to get into?
I would say football, but then I would also say basketball.
Oh, okay. And of course, you're only 9, so of course, you know, who knows, you know, definitely. But yeah, but I mean, once again, like Mom said also, you know, keep up with that education. Get that taken care of before anything else, of course, just for your you know, plan B, C, D, and E, because, you know, it's life. But yeah, I want to thank you guys. Thank you both for coming by here. And now that I know, I mean, next time I'll ask Mom to bring Bill Miller so we can eat while we talk, you know. But I appreciate you guys. Everybody else, of course, this is DeFi Car Podcast, sPidA. Until next time, follow up. And we should be good.
Yeah, sounds so different with the headphones on.
Yeah.
I'm claustrophobic. Like I can't be in the trap place. Like when I started wearing them, I was like, oh man, like I just felt like I was in a box. But it's
it's
I'm not real big with
I don't know, because when I play games, I just put on headsets.
Yeah,
oh,
true.
that's
We're
right.
always on a
Yeah.
headset.
You see, like I can't put them on when I drive. So I always have my speaker on when I'm driving, because if I put an earset on, it goes
Me
on.
too.
I freak out. I'm like, heck, what's going
Yeah.
on? But yeah, man. I mean, you know, I mean, like you mentioned earlier, the fact that you lost. You know, was it his first tournament?
Yes.
Yes.
You see, with something like that, like what are you thinking? Like,